Welcome to the Hill the Ring podcast here on the Sports Jedi Network with BX Sports Jedi. Kev, I asked the question, did WWE 2.0 revolutionize the wrestling with new superstars, or was it the downfall for the industry? I asked that question and more on this debate here on the Hill the Ring. Let's run that intro.
Acknowledge me.
I'm awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Yo. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
it
looking
bad, I
at
don't
the
know. My
youngest
rap, my
and
blood
fastest
boils
rising
over
star
life.
in
Oh God, here
professional
goes. I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things. Realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up. Let me show you what's up.
What's up, everyone? This is Welcome to the Hill the Ring podcast. I have a special question or looking at or debate there for everyone that's watching us on the different platforms on the Facebook Hill the Ring group, as well here on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Truvo, Instagram Live, all the different platforms that hears our voices here. Also on the audio platform as our Spotify, Speaker, Apple, everywhere you can hear my voice. I had a question. I was contemplating here, and of course, everyone, well, if you give you a quick secret, I live in Orlando, Florida. I do attend, or had attend, a lot of the 2.0 era of NXT, going there, week after week, being one of those diehard faithfuls to attend NXT, especially the 2.0 brand, where I've go as back as Spring Break in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Right after Braun got the title after Stand and Deliver from Monday Night Raw from Ziggler, I started attending NXT 2.0, and I remember the different podcasters, different programs, before I even got into the wrestling podcast to talk about it. So much ridicule that 2.0 used to get from the storyline, from the wrestlers, from the class. And as I look at it, I asked this question: isn't patience virtual? I asked that question because I'm looking at NXT 2.0, and look at all the stars that it created. Look at the list of who's who, not just for the WWE brand, but all across professional wrestling, independent scene, as well as TNA, Impact, All Elite Wrestling. I mean, look at the names that are, and this is some of the names there. Let's start from the top. You see Dakota, main roster, Kaden Katana, Braun Breaker, Wes Lee, Zachary Wentz, who was Nash Carter, Top Dollar, your digital media champion in TNA. Samoa Joe, although you could say Samoa Joe's a TNA product, I'm not going to put Samoa Joe. I'm going to keep him outside of the session of the rule. Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, as well as JC Jane, currently still, although both ladies are still in NXT currently right now, but they're from that 2.0 era. You see Candice LeRae, or you could say Candice was black and gold along with Johnny Gargano. Roderick Strong was a big part of the 2.0, as well as the transition from the black and gold with the Diamond Mine program. You see LA Knight had a cup of coffee with the 2.0 brand. Cameron Grimes, one of his North American run. Kaylee Ray, a.k.a. Albert Fire, Io Sky, although, again, could be a black and gold product. But some of the names that came out of the 2.0, Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, those names, Tony D'Angelo, Stax Lorenzo, those names that we currently see right now headlining NXT right now came from the 2.0 product. Case in point, one of them. I remember going and being at the Performance Center when they had their very first breakout tournament, and these are the ladies that were in that breakout tournament. Only one of those ladies is no longer on the WWE roster, but she's still in the wrestling business, which is Sloan, the young lady in the right with the red right in front of Lash Legend. Lash Legend breakout tournament. Roxanne Perez, your current NXT Women's Champion. Nikita Lyons, took NXT by storm and still a very hot commodity in NXT until, although recovering from injuries, still a face of NXT Women's Division. Adriana Grace, who just keeps getting better and better and each week after week with the reps on NXT. Kiana James, now a Raw wrestler. She's now on Monday Night Raw, excelling and doing well. We got Tatum Paxley. We saw her in TNA. Be able to, the WWE trust her to go to another promotion to represent the NXT brand at TNA for Tatum. And you have Fallon Henley, who continues to do one of her best work as a female heel currently right now in 2024. Those are just the caveat of the women and the talent that the WWE has done. And I asked that question, is as much ridicule and crapping on that it got, the color splash, the neon and so forth was maybe a little too much for some people, but the body of work, we're not even speaking about when they merge with NXT UK. I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say it's more black. The current NXT now, the black and white or the gold trimming, due to the fact that the NXT UK wrestlers came aboard after the Worlds Collide pay-per-view or the premium live event that happened to be there when they unified the title. Tyler Bates, Braun Breaker, Mandy Rose in a triple threat match with Blair Davenport and Mika Saramona. When they bought the NXT UK talent, we saw stars come out of that NXT UK talent brand. You could say it was under that 2.0 umbrella because they were doing their thing in NXT UK. From Tyler Bates, Gunther, or aka Walter, Imperium, Ilya Dragunov, we see Blair Davenport. We see the influx of talent that they had in those 2.0 era, and we asked that, was it really revolutionizing the industry? I say it does. With Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Paul Levesque, to some point Regal before going to All Elite Wrestling, then returning, and all the other coaches, Norman Smiley, Chaim Bloom, Terry Taylor, all the different people, men and women that work countless hours with the Performance Center, with all the talents there, they're putting a great mark on the industry for us, for wrestling fans currently now and for the upcoming future. With the performers that we have, look at the great impact that 2.0 has done. And I know he cut a little bit of his teeth before coming to NXT and get fine-tuned, but Isaiah Swerve Strickland, right now, he's an All Elite Wrestling champion who's going to have a big matchup later at the Forbidden Door tonight. Product of the WWE system to get fine-tuned, although he was a very uber-talented wrestler. Yes, we could debate if he got on his own or not got on his own, but he was brought up in the WWE system to fine-tune and got a platform to harness that skill set and take his talents to another level of excellence through the WWE system. And now he's a big-time star in another company. Product of the WWE system or reputation or getting reps and bumps in the WWE ring. I think NXT brand has its purpose, its significance in the mark of wrestling history, creating all these different stars for especially the women. As we see all the women's division, we talked about it many times on the Heal the Ring podcast, where when I have the crew with us, when we do the watch-alongs, I've always asked this question to them, or we've seen when we have a main event with fatal four-way with multi-women, a lot of them are the NXT women system. Rarely we see women from the outside in that NXT ring with the women's division to entertain us. Other than Jade Cargill, and Jade Cargill started off as a tryout, and she did take her picture being a product of the Performance Center. She tried out with Ivy Niles, part of that class with Ivy Niles, and she decided to go to All Elite Wrestling because they made her a main roster star, learning on the main roster while being on television exposure, where I'm not gonna blame Jerry Cargill because she made financial decision for her and her family to make more money, but eventually she returned to the WWE. Now she's a megastar. All roads concludes possibly a WWE wanting to be part of that, get that WrestleMania moment. My point is, these women all come from the NXT. You see Bianca Belair, NXT brand. We don't even have the women that are injured right now, like a Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, NXT UK system to the NXT system and into the WWE. The impact that has to get their flowers and recognition, not just Paul Levesque and Triple H, but everyone that works in the Performance Center, from storyline, from those that are the producers of the matches, the intensive work, the program regiment that they do in NXT. If you're an aspiring wrestler, I advise you guys, seek out NXT. Seek out one of these schools that have branches to NXT. Like, I'm saying like a Devon, 3D Academy. And if you're in the Florida area, that could give you that extension to get that tryout to NXT. Ohio Valley, if you're in the Ohio Valley, OVW, did a video on OVW earlier this afternoon. Whatever part of the region of the country that you're, Texas, you're trying to find that reality school, reality of wrestling, Booker T school. Look at the product that it brought from Roxanne Perez and seeing her growth. Well, Roxanne, she was there, went to Ring of Honor, was going to sign with TNA, and decided to got the NXT tryout, and the rest is history. I think Roxanne would have been a star in any of those companies. Whatever path she would have picked, I think she would have been above and beyond. But she got her system, her fine-tuned, and got in those calibrations of a WWE superstar for Roxanne Perez. She was going to make it anywhere, be honest with you. But again, either quick fast track or fine tuning, because the fundamentals of wrestling was installed with her through Booker T school. What I mean, if you're an inspiring wrestling, find one of those wrestling schools that's going to help you, teach you the wrestling business the correct way, to receive bumps, to give bumps, to be safe worker, to work, have the conditioning, the mindset, the mental mentality, the respect for the business. And it shows with NXT. And if you get released, it's not the big deal, because you taught the fundamentals, you taught a skill set, a trade, or a skill set to go and make money for your family. And no matter where it is, if it's All Elite Wrestling, Mission Pro Revolver, wherever it is, you're going to be able to be fine, because wrestling, storytelling, selling, safe worker, you're going to make it in the business. And I like that what NXT has done. I know everyone is going up in arms for the release of Dijak. Dijak no longer part of the WWE system. Free agent. Maybe they've seen the great amount for Dijak now, but look at this. He's one of the most hottest free agent currently right now before the month of July. Teasing that he showed up last night in a wrestling company, in an independent wrestling company outside of New England. He's teasing a couple in a 4-hour drive to another wrestling show, Nassau Coliseum, or the UBS in Nassau County in Long Island. It's 4 hours away, you could say, for New England. Could he be at All Elite Wrestling? But my point is, the NXT brand continues to entertain us. Now, some people say it should be just a developmental brand. WWE is trying to force feed it as a third brand. I think it could be a little bit of both. I think the NXT could be a little bit of both. It could give us the platform to develop these young men and women. That's what Level Up is there for. Level Up is a platform that's usually, and again, this is a little bit inside baseball or behind it, I think everybody knows it. Level Up is an hour before NXT Tuesday. They tape it and they air it Friday night. You see all the up and coming, whether they get their first shot as a match in front of a live crowd on television for some of these performers, or some of these performers, if you see them repeated on Level Up, now either they're going to be the ones that are going to be the ring general, or they control the match with a little inexperienced wrestler, or they put an older wrestler or an older experienced wrestler with a younger, and they allow the younger wrestler to dictate or control the match. Those are things there that they're learning on the fly or learning on the job as a professional. That's why when I watch a Level Up match, I don't look for wins and losses. I look at how clean, how entertaining, and did they tell us a story in that match when it comes to Level Up. at least for me as a wrestling fan, as an older wrestling fan that watches the product, I enjoy Level Up. I tell everyone to keep an eye on that because NXT continues to provide us with uber entertaining product. I can't wait what this current class of NXT wrestlers are for in about 2 years from now. I mean, look, right now the main roster is flooded with a lot of NXT wrestlers that I watch my first week at 2.0. Tiffany Stratton. I mean, Tiffany Stratton wet behind ears when she got there. Look at her now. Megastar right now in the main roster. Kaden Katana, although, you know, hell of a tag team where they're lacking women tag teams. I think they're very fun, entertaining. At least they were the life of the party in NXT 2.0 whenever they came out with their guns, with the air guns, and and felt like a club atmosphere where Kaden Katana will come out through the crowd. I know, must say, some people say it might not translate in the main roster. They don't know who they are. But it's up to Kaden Katana to win those folks over. And they are, by their in-ring, their tag team maneuvers, their double team. They will win. But they need more reps. They need more television time. And I think the crowd will eventually come over and say woo and find the oohs, ahs, the appreciation that we have for them in NXT for Kaden Katana. Maybe you guys say, well, you go there live and you have a bias to it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a maybe you're right, because I interacted with them and was part of the audience. I tend to feel that I am closer to these wrestlers from NXT 2.0 than any other wrestlers because I was there live and they interacted with them. You might be right, but I still say to you, give them an opportunity. Look at Grayson Waller. I've said this time and time again on my show. Grayson Waller, one of the best on the microphone, quick talker. That man does not need a scripted promo. That man is a scripted promo in his head. That man has vision when I mean vision, I mean whenever he's in the room, whatever he's in front of, whoever he's gonna zing, he has that calculated. He sees, like, the guy must be going through it. He must be like Rain Man with all the words and numbers going through his head, because I seen him roast people on the spot on NXT, like, to another level, like leaving people shook with the deer in the headlights. Grayson Waller on the microphone is a mega heel. That's a wrestler I hope they never turn babyface. I hope they always keep him heel because he's going to generate money when it comes for Grayson Waller. Look at him now with the Grayson, on SmackDown. Some folks don't like the hit or miss on Austin Theory. You know what? We could go on a big diatribe why Austin Theory doesn't work for some people, why it does. Because he came up as a protege of McMahon, and he has that stench, that stigma, that stereotype of Vince McMahon on him. And, maybe some people don't want to give him a chance, don't think his promos are unworthy. He can't talk on the mic, yada, yada. I think it's the Vince McMahon stereotype on him, but he was handpicked and so forth for Austin Theory. Let's hope that the heel run or the babyface run for Austin Theory helps him to a greater degree. And I know a lot of folks are seeing all the Twitter, seeing all the different, I guess, negativity for Ciampa and Gargano. They don't hit. They're not. Triple H has failed them, so forth. There's so much storyline to the top members or who could be on the top. You can't put everybody in the main event picture, folks. You need your soldiers, and I think Triple H should rely on those soldiers from NXT kids. There is, and you could say there's actually three different NXT group of kids or generation. You have the Dusty Rhodes NXT children, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. We know the names. The Triple H, the Paul Levesque, which the Four Horsewomen, the Garganos, and then you have the Shawn Michaels NXT kids that we're seeing now. And I hate to categorize like them because they're all NXT. They're all developed correctly. No group or no class is greater than the other. Even Adam Cole is a Triple H product children with the Undisputed Elite. Keith Lee. They all names that we talk about and we see them in other companies, and they stop us to want to watch their matches because they were brought up well. So NXT, to me, again, not to sound redundant, has done a phenomenal job in creating and revolutionizing the wrestling business, the wrestling industry, with wrestlers, with men and women that when they put on a match, you could put a title behind them, and you could make them face of the company Here's another name that we tends to fall through the crack. Dana Brooks, Ash by Elegance. Another name that is doing phenomenal job. I think she won her first title at WSW. She became a women's champion there. She's going to wrestle Jordan Grace at the upcoming Slammiversary for TNA in a couple of weeks. She might be able to knock off and become a Knockouts champion. Another one, product of the NXT brand. Again, we mentioned earlier at the top of the hour, we talked about Top Dollar, AJ Francis, another digital media champion. Mustafa Ali, he had that stench of the Retribution gimmick, along with Dijak, T-Bar, and the rest of the group of the Retribution. And I think they have to leave the WWE out of sight, out of mind, make their bones again in other companies, become a hot commodity. When they come back to the WWE, come back and you tend to appreciate the talent once they're gone. I'll give you the point. Mia Yim is becoming a workhorse in the last few weeks in the WWE TV. Have you noticed that? She's been on NXT participating in the North American Women's inaugural title match. Then part of the tournament for Queen of Ring. We saw her trying to qualify. We saw her on Friday Night SmackDown. She's getting TV time and exposure. Mia Yim, another one who left and come back. I think the same thing needs for Mustafa Ali, doing phenomenal work in TNA. Being the digital media champion. X Division. The digital media is AJ Francis. X Division is Mustafa Ali, doing a phenomenal job as champion. Very, very captivating with his gimmick, with his in-ring. His in-ring, we all knew wasn't nothing that we were like, oh, he was terrible. No, he was always a captivating, good performer in the ring. It was the microphone, the gimmicks, all the time. Was never given invested for Mustafa Ali to show that type of side from a Mustafa Ali, in my opinion. And now he leaves, and now he's TNA opportunities. All this and more is coming from the Performance Center, from NXT, either from Full Sail to the Performance Center. This is why we need to keep the Performance Center going. I know there's been talks, there's been rumors that the WWE looking to take NXT on the road as a third show, to different arenas and venues, so where people pay to go see the NXT brand. Look, it's all about making money. I get the WWE and TKO if they want to make money. I get all of that. Personally, let's find a compromise. Let's keep NXT Tuesday nights at the Performance Center, but whenever they have a premium live event, that Tuesday, they could come from a live from whatever city or nearby city, or from a venue near the premium live event city. I'm for that, unless if it's all international. If they want to put an NXT live on a Tuesday, the following a premium live event, let's compromise. They work. 3. You could do 3 in a row at the Performance Center live and 1 on the road. I think it helps the talent. You still need the talent to have that environment with the crowd. No one gets talent over or hype them up as the NXT crowd. And of course, I don't want to sound like I'm biased because I live here and I attend. But everyone there that goes, they're dedicated to go to NXT. Every person, pretty much, they make Tuesday morning or Tuesday, the whole day of Tuesday into an event. They either get up early, they show up to wait online, they have their tents, they have their dominoes or Uno cards, they share meals while they wait at the NXT line. And I'm sorry if it's a little bit giving up too much information, but the world has to know about the dedication also from the NXT fans. Yes, some people complain that they get there too early. They're there all day. Some people schedule their work day off on a Tuesday so they could do this and make it an event, a family, to see these performers Tuesday, every day, every Tuesday, week after week. And you kind of, if you take that void away, and I understand it's about making money, that in the corporate world don't really put too much emphasis on those folks that are there or care about, and I don't want to sound too harsh, but it's about it's at the end of the day, the greed, corporate greed is, capitalism, corporate greed wants the bottom line, making money. But those folks that go there are dedicated. They want to be there. They want to show up and cheer their performers. They want to follow them, buy their merchandise, buy their t-shirts, watch them grow in front of their eyes. And whenever the draft comes, we kind of feel like a proud family member whenever we see the performers get drafted to the main roster. I had never met Kiana James. I have interacted with her when she comes down the ringside to whenever for NXT live house show, but I felt so proud when she got drafted to Monday Night Raw. Felt like, my goodness, Braun Breaker. I mean, I interacted with him and had conversation and taking pictures with Braun, and my goodness, it felt like my sons are the same age as Braun, and I'm not saying he's my son, but it felt like a son going and drafted to the main roster, because it feels like family members when you watch the NXT brand week after week and go there and connect with them and cheer for them and see them grow and see them get better. I mean, I've said it time and time again. Lash Legend, remember when she started off? They didn't know what to do with her. Does she become a valet for Pretty Deadly, which looked pretty good? Then she kind of floundered. Then Metaphor came along, and her time at Reality of Wrestling, she's been a different wrestler. Phenomenal, watching her grow. Fallon Henley, seeing her grow, and I can't wait when the draft comes around. They're going to be drafted next year. They will be going to Raw and SmackDown soon. It's so fun to watch it. This is the ups and downs, or actually the downs is that you don't see them anymore unless if you go to Raw and SmackDown. That's a good thing. You pay your ticket and you watch them. We watch them as attending the shows at a no cost. Now you have to pay to watch them. That's it's a good trade-off. I think it's a great trade-off. You want to continue, buy their merchandise. I say, if you know what, you want to keep supporting these wrestlers after they're gone from the Performance Center, get their T-shirt, buy their merchandise. It goes a long way for the performers in their pocket. I'm not a paid advertiser at whatsoever. WWE doesn't even know who the hell I am. I'm just telling you from a fan. I happened to get this Vengeance Day T-shirt because they were tossing it in the arena, and I actually was able to grab it. One day I went to NXT. They used to give out T-shirts. Had an NXT Vengeance. I also purchased my Lexi King shirt, my Braun Breaker, so and so forth. I like to contribute that way as well. And I continue to say I'm thankful or blessed that 2.0 has been in Orlando for the time it's been, and hopefully it continues from here on out. Hopefully TNA. It's been rumored TNA's looking for a television home to do weekly shows, episodic week after week. I'm hoping that the Performance Center is available for them to use on Thursdays. And if there's the same setup or the same way of getting to a TNA taping, I will be there too to root for TNA as well. Because again, wrestling is an escape. I don't understand when fans go nuts. If you don't like a certain wrestler stuff, they attack. I understand. Not every wrestler's for everyone. I'm not a big Drew McIntyre fan. I've said it. He doesn't resonate to me. But I do respect him. He's 6'6", big Scottish. Just when he talks, I tend to tune out. Not a big fan of his. But you know what? He still have a performer. He'll put on a banger of a match. Just not my cup of coffee. I get it, folks. I get some people are not all these are, NXT might not be your cup of coffee, but I'm just telling you, look at the body of work. Look at the result behind it. One more time, I'll put that graphic up. One more time. Look at the faces on this pictures. Look at the names, the faces, and the names associated. We didn't even talk about Pete Dunne, Butch. Ashanti the Adonis, Athena. There's so many names. Dexter Lumis now, who's part of the Wyatt family. Joe Gacy, who's not on here, but Joe Gacy from the 2.0 era. Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, so many names that we see there. Santo Escobar, with Legado Fantasma. Dragon Lee come from the new NXT brand here, but we're talking about 2.0. We're talking about the color splat with all these wrestlers. Tyra Valkyria, She's another one that was in there. As well, before that, we had Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green. They went and did their own thing. Some of these ladies, if I tell you go to Peacock and look at the Cruiserweight Classic tournament that they brought in all these different wrestlers in. It was the who's who. They were cooking. And I think they're going to continue to cook now with this team. And they always been compelling. And I was one of the few to review, to talk about NXT 2.0 here on my channel for the past 3 years. And I will continue because they continue to be a fascinating, captivating, must-watch Tuesday night. Best wrestling with stories. They give you, it's a variety show of everything. They could give you the flippity floppers in Nathan Frazier Axiom. They'll give you they'll give you the hardcore, hard hitting matches. They'll give you the storytelling. One of the best women's division. They'll even give you underground matches. They'll throw you all those different things, and of course you have the leadership of Shawn Michaels and all those coaches down there in the Performance Center. I can't say any more about NXT. I think NXT 2.0 has revolutionized the wrestling business for the better. And they'll continue to do it once they continue with those fundamentals and the professionalism that they have at the Performance Center. I don't see that this factory of developing wrestlers, case in point, Obafemi. Obafemi from the NIL was a collegiate wrestler. A collegiate student, and now look at him now. Looking at this guy's trajectory, who could beat an Obafemi? Look at the development of Trick Williams. Look at the development on so many. Kalani Jordan. Look at her development. Look at some of these women coming up on the pipeline, like a Jasmine Nix. Look at all these different talent up and rising. Bronco and Lucius as a tag team. TNT. I mean, Big Body Javi, who get well soon, who got injured. Excellent wrestlers. They have a crop of wrestlers that are ready to excel, to take up the next step. And of course, we all have to do something that we all have to do something that a lot of us don't have a lot. Is have patience and let them develop and give them time. Because look at Stacks Lorenzo. I remember when he was wet behind the ear with 2 dimes. They couldn't even talk on the microphone, or their matches were leveled up, were little. You could tell they were raw. Look at him now. I mean, him and taking along the wrestling general in the tag team between him and Luca Crucifino. Lorenzo, phenomenal wrestler. Turned out to be a hell of an entertaining on the microphone with Tony D'Angelo and the family. Kudos. It continues to be a pleasure watching your development, Lorenzo, from the very first time you got into wrestling. At least for me, when I first saw you come in with 2 dimes. You have been killing it. All these wrestlers, I just wanted to shout that out. Who knows if they ever hear this video or not. But I just wanted to give them a kudos and a shout out to those guys, those men and women coming a long way. The Fallon Henleys, the Lash Legends, all in all, seeing them grow from the 2.0 era. And with that said, I want to say thank you to everyone to allowing me to entertain you this few half hour here on a Sunday afternoon, talking about one thing that I love is the NXT 2.0, their mark that they provided to the wrestling business, the wrestling industry. I can't wait to see what they do in this upcoming remainder of the year. I know that Heatwave is next Sunday. We'll be here doing the watch along for Heatwave. I can't wait for what comes after that. Either Great American Bash. Are we having an invasion battle with NXT TNA? We saw over the weekend real quick on the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. There was some tapings from TNA. This is a spoiler, but if you're on Twitter, you're already seen all the videos and all the spoilers out there. So it's a minor of a spoiler. It's going to be shown on the TNA on Thursday. The next 2 Thursdays, we had Charlie Dempsey interrupt and led to a match with the North Quarter Catch Club with Terry Ann Heights and Miles Bourne were in the Impact Zone, and Open Challenge Jordan Grace Issues, and from NXT comes Izzy Dame, 3 to the dome, another one. Another NIL volleyball player who she has the it factor to be a female champion of the heel type that you're like, she is captivating. She fits the bid, her height, her skill set, her work, her microphone, her look. She looks like a mega star for NXT. I cannot wait to continue to see her career continue to evolve, and for NXT to allow her to go up against the world champion for another company says a lot about Izzy Dame. Just think about that. Regardless, it's not about the wins and losses. It's about the honor, the privilege to go and represent NXT outside of the square circle, outside the performance center. Tatum Paxley had that privilege. Izzy Dame had that privilege. For all those that complain about, TNA sends NXT their world champion, their best, and meanwhile here comes NXT sending so and so, like making it seem like they were the worst or bad talent. You don't know the business. I'm not saying I know the business. I'm not saying that, but at least I'm enough. I have enough knowledge or recollection when they send a talent to represent NXT, they're sending someone who they have high regards, or they see something special, because they're not going to send someone who's going to embarrass Shawn Michaels, Terry Taylor, Hein Bloom, Norman Smiley, and the rest of the coaching staff to TNA and go, oh my God, they sent me this person that looks, oh my God, it shouldn't be in the ring with this caliber of a wrestler, a champion. Just think about that. Put that food to thought. They're sending out people that they know have an it factor that's not going to embarrass them. Remember, those wrestlers that go out there to represent NXT, they're a reflection of the coaching and the Performance Center program. I'll leave you with that food of thought. So, Izzy, you did a good job. 3 to the dome. We're proud. And also Tatum Paxley as well. Charlie Dempsey. Travian Heights. And I know some folks don't like Travian Heights' gimmick, but Travian Heights was given the nod to go and represent NXT to TNA. Says a lot as well as Miles Bourne. We know he worked with Randy Orton hand on hand during Randy Orton's recovery. But with that said, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget, we're going to be doing a Monday Night Raw watch along with the Heal the Ring crew. We ask you to join us, participate in the chat. Let me hear you. If you want to be a panelist, reach out to me. You could reach out to me at bxjedi76@gmail.com, or you could hit me up on my Twitter X direct message. I don't put the link in the chat. I usually send it by email or DM message, so you could join us. Look, we always love to grow the Heal the Ring crew. We want to hear more wrestling fans come on and have a watch party with every different wrestling fans, and maybe your point of view could help me see wrestling in another point of view, or vice versa. It's not about arguing which point of view is better. Oh, my point is better. My thoughts of wrestling is better. No, it's about listening, observing, retaining, and seeing it from an open mind, different point of view. Maybe we learn something. We could grow this together. Don't forget, we also partner with Are You Seeing This Wrestling podcast on the YouTube. Please check the ladies out, Jazz Marie, Canary. Please check out their channel. Hit that like, subscribe. Also, the Midfit Nation. Don't forget, Kayfabe Cartel. That's their wrestling show from the Midfit Nation on the YouTube. All these are YouTube channels, as well as Rican Reaction, the PUWF, our man Alex Coquito, breaking down, of course, they do NXT time with D-Walk, plus the wrestling talk, plus everything news and notes from Puerto Rico. Alex Coquito. All these channels are featured channels on my YouTube page. You can click it. You see their names there. Featured channels. Kick that out. Don't forget Chris the Flash. SHY. That means for Saints, Heat, and Yankees. He's a big fan of that. Give him a shout out. Check out, subscribe, follow on all these channels, as well as Best for Business. I got Eli, our main man Eli, Best for Business, who does some wrestling content. Up and coming young amateur boxer. Who works in parts and box and gets into that boxing arena, and as well joins us on the Heal the Ring. I want you guys to give him a shout out as well. Love and support. Young man who could be doing anything negative, but he's out there working 9 to 5, training and trying to inspire to be a professional boxer and loves wrestling. So that's that kind of stuff I like to get behind and support, because remember, they could be doing anything negative in this world, but they're out here doing something positive for himself, for his family, and something that he loves. I like to get behind that and support. And of course, don't forget to follow all of us on the different platforms. We thank you guys for watching us here on the Rumble, Kick, Instagram Live, X, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Yes, that's a long list. And it's soon. And of course, everyone on the Spotify application, 5 stars review. Please help us grow. The more you subscribe, the more feedback we get, the more we grow, the more wrestling content, the more I could bring more people on to have this conversation. I would have loved to have this conversation roundtable style, to hear everyone's different point of view, what they thought of the NXT 2.0. I would love to have gotten a roundtable discussion. Maybe we could see that. If I get the feedback, put your name, put something in the comments. We could always revisit this. I hear my thoughts. I would love to hear the rest of the YouTube and all the different platforms. So with that said, have a wonderful Sunday. We'll see you next time here on the On the Ring podcast. Have a good night.